Namaste friends. Today we're going to talk about the body language of the eyes. Now, how can you read a person by just looking at their eyes? By just looking at their eyes. As you know, face is the index of mind. You can easily tell what's going on in a person's mind by just looking at their face. And in the face, the most expressive of them all are the eyes. The first thing people look at while reading you are your eyes. So let's look at 5 gestures of the eyes which tell you something about a person who you're having a conversation with or the person who you want to read without making them talk. So number 1, quick up and down movement of the eyebrows with wide eyes, usually upon seeing you, kind of like this. Oh, hi, it's good to meet you. How are you? What are you doing here? Now, as a scenario, clearly suggests that this usually happens if a person sees you in an unexpected place or is surprised or they haven't seen you in a while, they haven't seen you for a long time. Let's say they bumped into you in a supermarket. It's an unexpected place. They were not expecting you there, but and then there you are, and they're like, "Oh, hi, what are you doing here?" You know. So if that happens, that means that they're actually happy to see you. You know, sparkling eyes and up and down movement of the eyebrows means that they're happy to see you. They're happy to bump into you, and they're happy to have a conversation with you. However, on the converse, if you don't see any of that, if you see like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" Right? So when that happens, usually it means that the person is, well, not that happy to see you, maybe. Number 2, the smiling eyes. Now, if you block out a person's face in a photograph, any photograph, a photograph of a vacation, even a passport photograph or whatever, if you block out the rest of the face and you just see the person's eyes, you can easily make out if that person is sad, anxious, or happy, by just looking at their eyes. So if you spot smiling eyes, like when a person is smiling, the eyes give away that. The eyes also smile. And if a person is seriously happy, kind of like, what a joke. That's a good one. Yeah. You see these wrinkles right here? Now, if you see these wrinkles when a person laughs while having a conversation with you, that means that they're actually happy. They're seriously happy. And they're happy to see you. And they're happy to they're happy to have a conversation with you and happy to have a good laugh with you, right? If you see those wrinkles. So wrinkles around the eyes are very important when a person is laughing at your joke or something. They're actually laughing. Otherwise, it's just like, good one, yeah. Maybe they're not that excited about that joke, or maybe they didn't find it that funny. They just put on a happy face. Number 3, the eye contact. The eye contact is very important, usually when having a conversation with a person or when trying to read a person. Now, there are 3 types of eye contacts in 3 different scenarios, right? Number 1 type of eye contact is eye contact while having a conversation with you. If you spot a person maintaining an eye contact while having a conversation with you, occasionally looking to the left, right, up, down, whatever, but 80% of the time they are maintaining eye contact with you. That person is maintaining eye contact with you. That means that he's happy to talk to you. He or she is happy to talk to you. They're happy to be in your company, right? That person is enjoying time with you, which is why they maintain eye contact. And this is usually with a person who you have a relationship with, your friend, a family member, or your romantic interest, whoever. On the converse, there is one more type of eye contact from a person who you don't know. Let's say you're meeting that person for the very first time. Could be a business meeting, a job interview, whatever. And in that case, if a person maintains eye contact with you, occasionally looking away but maintains eye contact with you most of the time, then they're genuinely listening to you, right? They're listening to what you have to say, maybe your business proposition. And they're like comprehending whether to do business with you or not. But on the converse, if they are most of the time looking away from you, that means that they don't find you trustworthy. They don't find you trustworthy. But if they're maintaining eye contact with you, maybe they find you trustworthy, and maybe they think that, okay, it's not a bad idea doing business with this guy. Now, the second type of eye contact is from a person who you've never met, or maybe you've seen them before, but you've never spoken to them, and they're maintaining an eye contact with you. This usually happens in bars, restaurants, classrooms, offices, right? But you have seen them. You see them usually on a day-to-day basis, but you've not initiated a conversation with them. And they maintain, and they kind of, you see them kind of checking you out. And this is not like an eye contact in a conversation. You can spot them checking you out in a public place, like a restaurant or a bar or an office, or in a classroom. And the moment you catch their eyes, they look away. And then when you're again doing something else, looking somewhere else, they again go back to you, checking you. They again have eye contact. They're interested in seeing what you have to do. They're interested in seeing your moves. That means they're interested in you. They want to speak to you. They want to come over and talk to you. Or they want you to go over and talk to them. Maybe they're a little shy to come and talk to you. So they deliberately maintain that, they deliberately check you out. And of course, the moment you see them, they hold eye contact for maybe a short second, and then they look away. Now that means that person is trying to initiate a conversation. They're inviting you. Or maybe if they're outgoing, they might come over and talk to you too. All you have to do is have a smile on your face, because a smiling face is invitive. It initiates invitation. And it's like, okay, you can come and talk to me. I'm a cool guy. But if you have like a stern face, like this, people are like, I think he's in a bad mood. However, eye contact from a stranger, a deliberate eye contact, kind of like this, and this usually happens with men, men staring at women usually. The converse is also true. Women also may stare at men, but usually, most of the time, the culprits are men staring at women. And maybe the woman is, I don't know, gorgeous, so they deliberately kind of like stare at them. And this could come off as creepy, and it can put women off. So that's another kind of eye contact. And the moment you catch their gaze, they don't look away, they continue staring. But it comes off as creepy. However, you will never know what kind of people they are unless you go and talk to them, right? You go and talk to them. If you are like, okay, he is a creep, you can stay away. Or if you're like, he's not a creep, it's okay, fine. Or even it could be a she. Now the third type of eye contact is the converse of the first type. Too much eye contact from person you know. Now, a little bit of eye contact, occasionally looking away, is a good sign. But however, if the person looks at you while having a conversation, and let's say this is a person that you have a relationship with, as I said, a family member, a friend, a colleague, a romantic interest, they're having a conversation with you and they look at you. Usually you say something and they keep looking at you. That means that whatever you said, they don't believe it. Maybe they don't find you trustworthy anymore, which is why they continue staring into your eyes. Again, if you find them looking into your eyes after they have made a statement, let's say you're in a conversation and they say something and they keep looking into your eyes after making the statement, that could mean that maybe they're lying to you and they're checking you out, they're looking into your eyes to see if you're buying their lies. So deliberate eye contact could only mean negative, right? Either they don't find you trustworthy or they themselves are not trustworthy, which entices them to make deliberate eye contact. On the converse, to kind of like for example, if someone asks you, where were you at 8:30 in the morning yesterday? Let's say if it is your spouse, right? And your spouse is asking you, where were you at 8:30? And you're like, oh, where was I at 8:30? I was in a meeting. Now, there's deliberate eye contact. Maybe he was not in a meeting because there's deliberate eye contact. Usually the normal answer would be, 8:30, I think I was in a meeting, man. Yeah, I was in a meeting. Now, this is genuine, but however, if it's like, I was in a meeting, maybe he's lying. And if it's like, I don't know where I was at 8:30, very little eye contact could also mean that they're lying. They usually maintain eye contact with you because to try to make up to that awkward scenario where they, I don't know where I was at 8:30. So what is the best thing to do? Look into your eyes and try to, kind of convince them that you're telling the truth, but you're actually not, you're lying, which is why you're staring at them. Now, the converse to the first point is lack of eye contact most of the time. For example, if a person looks at you, maintain eye contact 80% of the time, 20% looking away, that's a good sign. However, on the converse, the converse of it is 20% eye contact and 80% looking away, kind of like, yeah, I'm fine. How are you? Okay. He's avoiding eye contact most of the time. That means that he or she is not interested in having a conversation with you, is not interested in you, or maybe they don't trust you, they don't find you interesting anymore, whatever. And if it's a business meeting and you're meeting the person for the very first time, and if that person kind of like looks right to the left, looks down, checks the paper, whatever, they're neglecting eye contact with you, that could mean that that person doesn't find you trustworthy, and also maybe it's not good doing business with this guy. Or it could also mean that that person feels that he's above you, like, this guy is not really worth my time. Be careful and be sure that to read other signs apart from the eye contact. Be sure to look at the body language of the hands, their legs, the face, the way they talk, the way they make statements. So when you see all this, like body language in a cluster, that is when you come to know exactly what's going on in a person's mind. Just don't look at their eyes and finalize your judgment, but make sure that you read the body language in a cluster to know exactly what's going on. But yeah, eyes give away most of the things that are going on in a person's head. Now, last but not the least, look up or look down when a person is speaking to you. Let's say you're having a conversation with a person, right? And during that conversation, that person says, where were you last Sunday? And you go, last Sunday, I think I was in Mysore. And what happened here? You looked up, you came down. I think I was in Jayanagar, I guess, in Bangalore, yeah. So he looked up and he came down, which means that they're trying to unlock the memory part of their brain, and they remembered where they were, and then they gave you where they were. They told you. On the converse, if they look down, where were you? I don't know where I was, man. I forgot. Maybe they exactly know where they were, but they're trying to create stuff. Okay, what should I tell him? Bombay. All right, let's just say that I was in Bombay. His mind is being creative. Look up. His mind is extracting the brain is extracting the memory part of it. It's trying to remember genuinely that where it was. Where were you last Sunday? Look up. However, when the person looks down, the brain is being creative. It's trying to create things, lies, in other words. And also, it could happen like both at the same time. You remembered something. Oh, can't say that. Okay, make up something, deliver it. So that could also be that's one of the things. So looking up, looking down. Now you know that could mean that person is trying to remember stuff, or he's trying to be creative.